Hello, hello, hello. I think we are live. I'm just going to check on Facebook to make sure we're there and obviously give you a chance to get on and join us as well. Hope you are well and have had a lovely Sunday. I've got a nice live circle around our profile picture anyway on the Facebook page. So yes, it looks like we are there. I'm just going to check that we're also in the group because you should be able to watch this.
Usually you
in the
get a
group.
notification, but I've not had a notification.
No, but yeah, I think it's going to direct people to the page, I think. But just give me a second before we start. I can see a couple of people are coming on to join us anyway, but I'm going to share the live to the group just in case, so that people can see it in there as they come and join us. So I hope everyone's had a very jolly Sunday. Claire's been at the spa all day, haven't you? Well, not all day, half the day, haven't you, Claire?
Yes. A nice pamper for the start of September. September self-care, September. So
Yeah.
start it as I mean to go on.
Yes, you've got to keep it up now. Got to keep it up for the whole month.
We'll see.
I should join you. If you've joined us live, do let us know now that you are on. Say hello in the comments if you're there. I can see some of you are there. So yeah, come on in to the chat. I think because we're broadcasting via StreamYard, you might just need to let StreamYard know your name. I think there's like a little button you can press to let StreamYard know your name. And then say hello, because we'd like to know who is here. So we got a heart. That's nice to get a heart anyway.
Kai, hello, Kai. Kai's watching.
Hey. Are you keeping an eye on the...
Yeah, I put it open on mine as well.
Good. Okay. Oh, I don't know why I'm clapping. Yes. Oh, there we go. I can see Kai and I can see Yvette. Hello, Yvette. And there's Sharon. Happy Sunday. You having a glass of wine, Sharon? So thank you for coming along to this open evening. Claire and I have been probably racking our brains a bit over the summer, because one of the hardest things to do is to get the essence of a retreat to kind of jump off a page, if you know what I mean, whether it's a social media post, whether it's an email, whether it's in a brochure. It's really hard to get, the sense and the feeling and the impact and the transformation of a retreat to come across in that kind of way. So we thought we're going to have to bring it to you in person. And I know that one of them, a retreat's one of those things that you might feel a bit apprehensive of going on if you don't know Claire and I personally. So we thought it'd be a nice opportunity for you to meet us. Then you can decide whether we're your kind of people or not, as the case may be, although I'm sure the answer will be yes. And also it gives us the opportunity then to tell you a little bit about us, a little bit about Retreat Yourself, because it is very different to other retreats that you will see advertised. And also to do a bit of a showcase of all the retreats that we've got coming up over kind of the next 18 months. And we've got some corkers, haven't we, Claire?
Yes, and more to come.
More to come. That's all we do. We get in such trouble at home, don't we, for all of the trips and escapades that we plan.
And the recipes that we have to go and do in advance.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's the plan for tonight, is kind of bring to life what a retreat really is, what kind of people a retreat's for, a little bit about us and our business, and then obviously get down to the nitty-gritty and share with you some of the places that we have got planned, with some amazing offers on tonight as well. If you are joining us live, we're literally going to put these offers on for 24 hours. So by, let's call it midnight tomorrow night, any of the offers that you see on this session, even if you're watching it on catch up, because I know quite a few people in person, then you've got until tomorrow night to take up any of these offers. So I'm going to kind of move us on a little bit. Oh, I'm jumping all over the place. So I suppose we better start really with a bit of an introduction of you and me, haven't we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I've got us my way round on it. I'm first on the picture, although I've got dark hair. So yeah, a little bit about me. I'm Jodie.
I've got blonde hair on there, and now it's ginger. You've got brown hair, and now yours is blonde. So forever changing.
We've swapped. So yeah, I'm Jodie Salt. Bit about my background. Well, I live in Cheshire, in Frodsham. I'm 45. I am married, got 3 teenage daughters for my sins. I say teenage now. The eldest has just turned 21. So I've got a 21-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 13-year-old. House full of pets. All the pets are girls. My poor husband is the only male in the house. But by day, I am an executive coach. So I spend my time coaching mostly women, actually, passionate about coaching senior women in leadership positions to kind of help them smash the glass ceiling. And I've been doing that for about 15 years now. And yeah, I really, really, really enjoy it. But Claire does something very different, don't you, Claire?
Yes, so I'm Claire Gregory. I'll say 42, but I'm actually 43 in about 18 days. Yeah, another year older. I am married with 2 daughters. Mine are 11 and 14. So they keep me very busy. No pets anymore. My little dog died last year, so we're petless. Popcorn, yeah. While we were on one of our retreats, actually. But yeah, I have a women's health clinic with my business partner from the clinic side in Warrington, and that's providing all kinds of different treatments for women with regards to exercise, injury rehab, acupuncture, scar therapy, lots of kind of specialist treatments for women's health. And I also teach courses for healthcare professionals. So I teach acupuncture, clinical therapy skills, and then also Retreat Yourself, which is kind of a passion of Jodie and mine, which was to travel and to find a way to integrate travel more into our lives and our business. And I suppose Retreat Yourself was born from that.
Yeah, because it allows us to fulfill that passion, doesn't it? We both love working with women and helping women to live a better life, and we both love to travel. And so I think you don't need to be a rocket scientist to work out that just comes together really well with Retreat Yourself. And so our retreats are a blend of wellness and personal development, which is quite different to most retreats. And I guess the other thing that makes us a little bit different, there's 2 of us. And actually, I think every retreat should have at least 2 retreat leaders on it. It's very, very difficult to give,
especially if you're doing the cooking, like in the early days before we discovered getting in chefs.
Absolutely. But yeah, even just to give your clients a great experience, it needs 2 of you to be able to do that. It's very hard to do that as a person independently. So yeah, blending wellness and personal development, 2 of us. And I guess the key thing is, this is our business. Retreats are all of our business. So most retreats that you will see are a sideline for the leader that's running them. Maybe they have a yoga business or a coaching business or a therapy business. And alongside their one-to-one clients or their group programs, they like to add on a retreat that they might do once a year. Whereas we've become real experts in this field. We do retreats all the time. We do about 3, 4, 5 maybe each year. And we also facilitate retreats for other people, people who want to run a retreat and need some help and support to do it. So it gives us lots and lots and lots of expertise in that space. So if there's anything you want to know about either of us, then please feel free. Pop a question in the comments if you want to. That goes for any of the topics that we share with you tonight, whether it's about retreats themselves and whether they are for you. It might be about some of the destinations that we've got planned as we go through those shortly, or equally if it's about mine or Claire's personal life or expertise, again, feel free to ask away. But while you probably like mulling some of that over, let's tell you a little bit more and open our eyes up to the world of retreats. And so I guess the main place to start is, well, what even is one? Here's a lovely picture of our Balinese crew. Obviously, they weren't actually Balinese, but we were in Bali. Wow, it's nearly 18 months ago, isn't it? We were just saying before we came on live how long ago this feels now. Yeah,
Crazy,
it feels like it's gone
it?
really, really. Yeah, but one of our most special retreats ever, our furthest away retreat.
Longest as well, do you reckon?
Yeah, we did. Did we do 10 days? We did 10 days in Bali, didn't we?
Yeah, 10 days, yeah.
We did 12. We did 12, but the guests did 10, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what a retreat is. Well, actually, let's start with what it's not, because, for a lot of people, they dress it up as but really it's just a bit of a girly holiday, isn't it? And actually, we'd say wholeheartedly, not at all. It's not a girly holiday. It's not just about having a break, and taking some time in the sun. In fact, we don't always go to sunny destinations, and you'll see that shortly. But actually, a retreat it's a purposeful withdrawal. So you deliberately take yourself away from everyday life so that you can rest, but we mean properly rest, so that you can really relax. Which those two things you might associate with a holiday, but the ones that you don't necessarily associate with a holiday are the reflection, the healing, the personal growth, the spiritual development that you might get from being on a retreat, as well as the amazing fellow retreaters that you will make friends for life with. And so the real purpose of a retreat is about making positive changes to your life. And it's really beautiful, actually, the way that comes about on a retreat, isn't it? Because it's not like when you go on a training course or you go to a conference and you're making changes. Being in a retreat environment makes that so much more natural, pleasant. It just seems to happen kind of holistically, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And often from the most unlikely of places. We have a lot of women that come on retreats with us, don't we, who maybe sometimes they don't even know why they've decided to come. They just know that they need something, but they haven't quite figured out what. Or some people do come with a very deliberate purpose. So, and then by the time they go home, they're going home with something very different, a bit of a curveball that came from nowhere, but that's changed their life for the better, that they weren't really expecting. And that's always really lovely to see, isn't it? When we spend a bit of time at the end of the retreat, kind of consolidating things and talking about what's changed for us all, it's really nice to see that people have had, maybe a bit of a different experience than what they thought they were going to have.
I think a big thing is people come, and even though they know it's more than just a break, they actually don't realize how much more till they actually get to the end. And they're kind of expecting to relax, switch off a bit, wind down, learn a little bit, participate, but it's so much deeper what they actually do experience while they're on the retreat than I think what even those that have done retreats before. I think each time, even with serial retreaters, our kind of returning retreaters, because each one's so different, they still have a different experience and take different things from each retreat.
Yeah, because actually, about half of every retreat we run are people who have been on a retreat with us before, aren't they? And then the other half are usually brand new people that have just come into kind of our world and are having their first experience with us. But it is really lovely, isn't it, that people do keep coming back again and again and again. It's not a one-hit wonder on a retreat where you've been on one and you're like, right, we'll tick, that's that done. Actually, you get more and more and more the more that you do. So yeah, I think it makes a real difference for people, doesn't it? And I think there tends to be quite a lot of myths, I like to call them, about, when people are trying to decide whether a retreat is for them or not. I guess that's a lot of the conversations we end up getting into with people, isn't it? Whether it is when we're at meetups or networking events, whether we're out socially, whether we're chatting to people online, or people have inquired by our email, or we have a call with somebody because they're interested in retreats. You know, the number of women who think, yeah, but I'm not too sure whether a retreat's for me. Am I the right type of woman to go on a retreat? And I guess that's probably the biggest thing we want to come through from running this open evening tonight, is especially, like, I know you will have seen retreats advertised that they kind of look like, well, but going by the price and going by the way that it's portrayed, they're for women who don't necessarily work, who live a very, I'm going to say, lavish life, privileged life. And yeah, you know, they cost the earth, so that the women who've got a lot of money. And actually, we wanted to create something different to that, didn't we? Because I'm sure by now you can tell.
Yeah, I was going to say, we wanted to take kind of the elements from both of our careers and our experience and the work we do on a day-to-day basis that we know is really impactful, and how we can bring that into kind of a more focused setting like a retreat, but still make it accessible for people, so that it's not just you know, like really exclusive for just those who've got, you know, unlimited amounts of cash, unlimited amount of time off that they can take from work, and that it's something that actually, granted, there'll be that it will be out of reach for some people. We can't obviously accommodate everything, but we tried to make it for women like us that, you know, haven't got the luxury of an unlimited pot of money, but do want to invest in ourselves and do want to prioritize our own development and wellness, and therefore put an affordable package together so that the retreats can actually become an option.
Yeah, that's what it was massively important to us, that, wasn't it, to make it so that, you know, it was for everyday women like us. And I hope we come across now you got to meet us, that we are really down to earth, we're really normal, you know, we're quite chilled out, aren't we? We don't take ourselves too seriously. Yeah, and we want it to be, we want to offer retreats to the women who really, really need them. And that's the women who are working hard every day, spinning 27,000 plates of family, job, personal life, friends, caring for parents, all those kinds of things, but that actually need to put their own oxygen mask on for a little bit and spend some time on themselves. So yeah, you know, quite often I think it's perceived that retreats are running normally like yoga retreats or detox retreats. And, you know, there are so many different types of retreats that you can go on. Yes, a lot that you will see will tend to be yoga or detox retreats. Ours aren't. You know what? Sometimes we do a bit of yoga, don't we? But we mix our movement up with lots of other things. Claire runs a mean aquasize class when we've got a pool. And I say mean, like, it's good. It's a bit hard as well. And we all fall about laughing and nearly drown off the time. But we've got some amazing pictures of us all doing aquasize, haven't we?
We are.
Sometimes we do body weight workouts. Sometimes we just have stretching sessions. Sometimes we do yoga. We do all kinds of different things. We certainly don't detox. We eat wholesome, healthy food, and we're full. And we do have a glass of wine, so that ours are not completely teetotal. Equally, if you want, you know, if you want to come away and have an alcohol-free break, of course you can. It most certainly isn't a, you know, a piss up in that sense. But you know what, if you want a glass of wine with your dinner or a gin and tonic with your dinner, then absolutely that's fine on our retreats. Obviously, we wanted to bust that myth that retreats are expensive luxuries. We work really, really hard to price our retreats at an affordable rate for people who are working and have got many other things that they're having to pay for. You know, they will have some disposable income, but it's not mega bucks by any means. A lot of people who are quite, well, more so, I'm not going to call them introverts, but would class themselves not an extrovert and a bit quieter, they often, I think, are concerned that they won't be all right on a retreat, particularly if they're coming on their own. And actually, it's a perfect place for you if you're, you know, a little bit more on the quieter side, isn't it? Because you get lots of time to think, reflect, but equally you've got really easy opportunity to interact with other people, not with like forced fun. You know, you've just got time. You've just got time to chill and just ease into natural conversation with people if that's what you want. And I think one of the things that most people love about our retreats is when everyone first arrives, you know, the first thing we say to everybody is, you do what you want here. Whilst we put an itinerary together for the trip, you don't have to do any of it. You know, if you don't want to do any yoga or exercise in the morning, you want to have a nice lie-in till 10 o'clock, you do that. You know, and actually that's quite liberating for people, isn't it? That if they want to go to bed early, if they want to go off for a walk on their own, if they don't want to participate in a workshop, it's really nice for them just to be able to confidently say, I'm not going to do that one today. And everybody is like, great, good for you. You do you. And everyone just does their own thing. And I think that kind of helps point 4 about whether you'll fit in or belong, because we set the conditions, we create it's almost like almost a little culture, isn't it? Where everybody is respectful of everyone else having the freedom to choose. I think that massively matters to people, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of people do opt out and opt in of different things. People, there might be something that's like a burning desire and a destination, and they're like, I really want to go to this place while I'm here, and this is the day I want to take that opportunity. And that's great. We'll help you facilitate that and sort that out. And we aren't offended or kind of don't take the hump at all if you're missing a workshop that either of us are delivering or something else that's organised, because it is your retreat. And as much as we'll provide options and opportunities for you to engage in structured activities, at the end of the day, it's got to be what's best for you while you're there. And we can help point people in the direction of lots of other things that are going on in and around the retreat that might be of interest.
Yeah, I love seeing women when they start choosing for themselves like that, where they're just like, do you know what, I don't fancy that today. And actually everyone's like, nice one, we're really pleased you've made that choice for yourself. You know,
yeah, I remember Nicole in Santorini when she was like, I've always wanted to do the hike from Fira to Ia, and she set off and everyone was like made up for tracking her online and stuff, seeing like how a hike went. And she sent us the picture, sat outside a bar at the top place she'd hiked at, and everyone was made up that she'd got there, and that had been a burning desire she'd wanted to do, was she wanted to do that walk, and she did it. She didn't attend some of the workshops that day, and then still came back. We all had dinner together and a nice evening, and she ticked off something off her bucket list, and I think she'd inspired other people into saying it's okay to do something different.
Well, lo and behold, we had one lady on that trip then who decided she wasn't going home, didn't she?
Yes.
She decided to tell her and Louise kind of by herself. She booked herself an Airbnb, hired a bicycle, changed her flight, and she stayed for another 3 days, didn't she?
Yeah, living her best life.
Yeah, so there you go. You never know. And I think the other ones on there we've kind of covered off, you know, around it. Hopefully now you see that it's not just a fancy term for a holiday. You know, retreats are not just for young women or rich women. It most certainly isn't self-indulgent or selfish to go on a retreat. Actually, it's a big investment in you, and your family and those people who you love get a better version of you when you come back. And I think, you know, I've left number 5 to last on purpose, because one of the biggest worries of people is if they feel like they're not really fit, you know, they're not super flexible, and will I be able to do everything? And, you know, we want, like Claire said, we want to make our retreats really accessible for people. So we accommodate everything to all shapes and sizes, so that you can participate in as much or as little as you want. It's nice and easy like that, isn't it? So hopefully that puts your mind at rest. if any of those things were relevant for you. So I guess I'm just going to check in here whether we've covered all of these off. We've talked about it's for everyday women like you and us. We're all about the wholesome, healthy, and sometimes indulgent food. We combine health and well-being. We only do retreats. It's not a sideline to our business like most others. We certainly don't take our retreat ourselves too seriously. We try and have some fun. You can have a drink if you want to. They don't cost the earth. And actually, one thing we haven't talked about is we do go to lots of different destinations. We don't just go to the classic places that most retreats do. You know, I mean, one day we might go to Costa Rica, but, you know, you can 10 a penny retreats in Costa Rica, loads in Ibiza. I mean, people have asked for us to take them to Ibiza. So you will see we have got a small trip to Ibiza next year. But yeah, we tend to go to lots of different places. You know, we're going to Mexico in November this year. We've got Zanzibar planned. But equally, we've got a French kind of vineyard type chateau setup going on. And we are going back to do another snow adventure in Finland. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the last point in a second, so we'll let that one kind of sit there. But if you're interested in where we've been before, here's some of the amazing places that we've been and the wonderful people that we have taken. So we set this business up in 2019. So we've been running now for 5 years. And as you can see here, we go to places in the UK, across Europe, and far and beyond, worldwide, all over the place, really, don't we? Which has been your favourite, Claire?
Do you know, I was thinking about this the other day. Somebody asked me, and it's so difficult because it's not like it's a yoga retreat in all of these different places. Each retreat has been so different that it's really hard to choose. If I had to pick the destination that was my favourite, it would be Bali.
Yeah,
by far was my favourite destination. But in terms of retreats, I couldn't pinpoint one. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean about Bali. However, Finland has got to be a firm favourite because it's so magical.
We saw the Northern Lights. That was amazing.
And I really did enjoy Santorini. That felt like a really special trip. But yeah, lots and lots of places. Kai, I can see you've put a couple of questions in the chat. We'll come back to them when we're talking a little bit about Mexico, but I just wanted to let you know that we have seen them, so I'll pick up them in a minute. Claire, you might know a little bit more so in terms of Jungle Trek. You've been looking at some of the trips for Mexico, haven't you?
Yeah.
I won't read all of these out. I'm going to leave this on the screen just for a minute so that if you want to come back to this at any point, then you can pause the video and you can read some of the retreats, testimonials, the feedback that we've got off lots of different people. Just a couple of like one-liners that I'll pull out from here. You know, one of the best experiences of my life. The emotional reset that you didn't know you needed. You know, it's a magical experience of being around like-minded women. Life-changing. I've arrived home feeling a different woman. You get the essence of how this impacts people. But, you know, as Seema puts it up there, you have to experience it for yourself to really get it and know exactly kind of what it gives you in terms of transformation and perspective, I guess. So that's a little bit about us, the business, what we've done before. So if you have any questions about that, please do just put something in the comments below. Even if you're watching this on replay, you can come back to, and we'll come back to it and we'll pick up the question if you tag us in it. So now we're going to tell you a little bit about what we've got coming up. So this is our lineup between now and February 26th. So our next trip is to Tulum in Mexico in November. We've got just 4 places remaining on that trip. So if Mexico sounds up your street, this could be the offer of your dreams tonight. Following that, we're off to the Peak District in January for our New Year, New Intentions retreat. We're kind of parking the New Year's resolution thing and going with some intentions instead. By popular demand, we will be heading back to Northern Finland in February. We're going to do a second Lake District trip, which is a bit more of a women's wilderness weekend in May. We've been asked by lots of people to do a retreat in Ibiza, so we're going to oblige and take people to Ibiza in June 25. We just want to go and eat some wine and drink some wine and eat some cheese in France, quite frankly, don't we? So yes. We have planned a French retreat in the Dordogne.
Yes, got a little bike, cycling around the estate, eating grapes, drinking wine, and truffling cheese.
Yeah. So yeah, be prepared to put on a few pounds, but it's intentional, ready for the winter, because it is an autumn retreat, and then over to Zanzibar in February 2026, which I know might seem like a long way away, but on a big trip like that, most people, like they did with Bali, really enjoyed having the opportunity to have a low amount payment plan over a longer period of time. So that might be something that really, really suits you. And Zanzibar's always been on my bucket list. That's one of my chosen destinations. So let's talk a little bit about each of them in turn. So Mexico is up on our list first in November. We've called this one the 4 R's retreat, haven't we? This is about properly disconnecting from the grid, if you like, from life. So really to truly rest, press the reset button, relax. When we say reconnect, don't mean reconnect with like the world and technology. We mean with yourself. So kind of reconnect with your own identity, and then spend some time, really rejuvenating, so that by the time you return after a week, this is a 7-night retreat, you will definitely be glowing and feeling amazing. I mean, just look at the list of kind of stuff that's on offer. As we've said, you don't have to do it all, but it is an amazing setup, isn't it, at this villa that we've booked in Tulum.
It's unreal. It's, as I said, it's purpose built for an experience like this. The fact that we've got a Temazcal on site, usually I have to book them and go somewhere, but we've got one in our gardens that we can use, which is like it says on there like a sweat lodge, and we will have a Temazcal ceremony leader that will take us through I call it a ceremony. That sounds like it's some kind of religious-y cult thing. It's not. It's the use
ritual.
Of herbs, the ritual of the herbs and the steam. It's like a really exotic sauna, essentially. And obviously, in some Temazcals, they will use like some of you might be concerned about things like ayahuasca and stuff like that. It won't be anything that's like hallucinogenic. It will all just be more about wellness and so on in the Temazcal that we'll be running at our sweat lodge.
Yeah. So we've got lots of lovely things. Sound bath, cacao ceremony. On the personal development side, we'll have a couple of workshops, particularly around deep rest. If anyone's feeling quite burnt out, we'll have a session around how to kind of get back from the brink of burnout, if that's where you're feeling that you're at. Given it's got quite a spiritual vibe to this one, and obviously having the opportunity for sound baths and cacao ceremonies and the Temazcal, a self-love and acceptance workshop just fits in beautifully with the kind of tone and the environment that we will be in. Claire will also run a session around nutrition and movement, particularly for women, depending on the age group of the ladies that come with us. Typically we're kind of late 30s through our 40s, maybe early 50s. And actually, there's some really important things about how we, invest in our bodies, both in terms of what we eat and how we move it to set us up for later in life to be strong and fit and healthy to do that. We're also going to have a skincare workshop. We've got one of our guests on this retreat. She's retreated with us many times, and she is a specialist in skincare. So she's going to have a fabulous skincare workshop. And obviously you'll have the opportunity to engage in some mindfulness, some meditation, some breath work. There'll be a number of different trips that you can opt to go on. if you want to do some of those. And equally, there will be some spa treatments that you can, have as well.
On the trips, I was going to say, Kai had asked
about the jungle trip.
Yeah, so obviously we're in Tulum, we're right near the jungle, so there's loads of different trips, as Jodie said, but a couple of the key ones that I think people might be interested in that we have got links to be able to sort out is one is to go to Chichen Itza, so one of the 7 wonders of the world, go and see kind of the Mayan ruins. I'll definitely be doing that because it's on my bucket list of things to do. And the jungle trek, we can trek into kind of like an archaeological national park, if you like, and see loads of different wildlife. But there's zip lines through it. So parts of it you can travel by a zip line to different parts. You don't have to if that's not your thing, but there are optional zip lines to it. But I know something that Jodie and I both really want to do in the jungle is they have a lot of they're called cenotes. And essentially it is a cave with permanent water in it, but with a hole in the top where the light shines down. It's like the kind of thing that you see on like postcards. It looks dead magical. The water's like crystally blue, the sun's shining through. You're in this kind of like blue lagoon almost, and the jungle's full of them. So a part of the trek, you can either just visit the cenote or you can actually swim and snorkel in the cenotes. As well as like waterfalls. So the archaeological parks and part of the jungle are huge. As I say, depending on whether you want a little bit of activity or whether it's just purely for the wildlife and the nature, there's loads of different options within quite a short distance from the villa. And again, we've got guides that are approved, licensed guides with the Tourist Board of Mexico that work closely with our concierge there, who can take different groups to various locations.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question, Kai, but we can chat more about it next week when I see you.
Yeah. So at the moment, obviously, because we are set up as a tour operator. In fact, did I end up skipping a slide?
I think you may have.
Must have done.
Yes, you did.
Right,
yes.
And it's got the best picture one of the two of us. So I'm just going to backtrack to here. Sorry, this is actually really important because we are in a position that we can sell retreats with the flight included, which most retreats you are not in a position to be able to do, because you have to have an ATOL license to be able to sell a flight, which, as you can see from the slide that's in front of you now, we do have our own ATOL license. But we wanted to spend a little bit of time actually just giving you some information, whether you retreat with us or not. Okay. But if you go on a retreat with anybody else, Claire and I are really passionate about making sure that you go on a retreat with a reputable retreat leader. The reason that we say that is not about whether this person is honest or trustworthy or a nice person. I hope that all goes without saying. But there are a lot of retreats taking place globally, but we'll talk specifically about the UK and the EU because there are some seller of travel laws, and they're very similar now that the UK is not part of the EU because of Brexit, but the rules are still similar. So a retreat is classed as a package holiday, which means, so for Claire and I to run a retreat, we have to comply with the same rules as Jet2 do, as TUI do, as any other big tour operator. We might only be a boutique retreat agency, but we must comply with all of those seller of travel laws. And so must anybody else who runs a retreat. And I think at the moment you'd be hard pressed to find many. So please do your due diligence when you check out a retreat that you're thinking of going on. So these seller of travel laws are all linked to the package travel regulations that were put in place in 2018. As I said, UK and EU. There are seller of travel laws in most countries, but obviously I could spend a week talking about every single country. And actually what matters is we sell to people in the UK and the EU, and we take you away on holidays either in the UK or elsewhere in the world. So we have to comply with the laws of this country, which means there are two things that we have to have in place to comply with these laws. Number one is that we have tour operator liability insurance. You'll have seen that on your big holidays as them being a member of ABTA. Now, ABTA is just one of the organisations that you can be a member of, and kind of pulls in the financial failure in the tour operator cover. But you have to have tour operator liability insurance and financial failure protection. So for us, what that means is when we take your money for your retreat, we have to put it into a trust account. We don't get to keep that money. It has to go into a special trust account that is run by a set of trustees, and it has to stay there until the trip takes place. And then only then does any of those funds get released to pay our suppliers, to pay any of the other travel, and to pay ourselves out of that. And then our ATOL license means that we are licensed to be able to then sell flights. You will see retreats that do not have this cover, that will say, as long as you've got your own travel insurance, or you complete their waivers to waive away your claim against anything, that's not sufficient. So please do make sure that you can see our logos here below that show that you are financially protected with us. Your flight is protected with us. We have our tour operator liability insurance. We are a member of the Travel Trust Association, which means we are fully compliant and able to sell these trips. So please do ask to see documents from anyone that you book a retreat with, and make sure that you do. You can check all of our credentials online. If you go to the Travel Trust Association's website or to the ATOL website, you can verify, because actually you might see a lot of people using these logos who are not actually covered with them.
Yeah, because I think that's a key. Also, sometimes I think it's not a deliberate sense, in that where some people who don't fully understand the package travel regulations is they book accommodation and food or whatever through a travel agent or through one of these kind of travel schemes that you can book through. So they'll book an accommodation that is ABTA protected, and they'll book that venue and everything, but then they add to it with other elements of a retreat. Like they might add a trip, they might include a chef that they're bringing out. And what happens then is, because you've made it a dynamic package, that initial agent who you've booked through, their ABTA bonding doesn't cover that retreat any longer, because that's not the package they've sold. They've only sold the accommodation. The minute a retreat leader starts adding other elements to it, they're making it a new package holiday. And if you create a new package holiday, you have to then bond all of the money and bond all of that travel. And I think that's sometimes where, so people will use an ABTA logo and say, and this retreat is ABTA protected, but they're unknowingly, I want to believe, unknowingly misusing that agent that they've booked through's ABTA license.
And the key to be able to work that out is who's handling the money, because whoever handles the money. So obviously, when you book a retreat with us, you pay your money to me and Claire to Retreat Yourself. Because the money comes to Retreat Yourself, it is Retreat Yourself that has to have those policies in place. We have to comply. If you pay the venue directly, that's a different story, because that package is protected as it was. So it's about thinking about wherever your money goes, that's where the protection needs to be, at the point of sale, not further down the chain. So I just want people to know that, so that they don't end up in a situation, because I do see retreats that get cancelled, or that things fall through and people don't get their money back. And we want you to know that you are fully protected with us in that sense. But that's a serious bit, right? So we'll go back to the trips now. So let's talk about Tulum. Woo, back to the fun stuff. So our trip to Tulum does have an option on it where you can book your flight with us. Now, our standard prices on this retreat at the moment is £1,999 for the trip. If you want your flight included with that, it's £2,000 £499. But if you decide to take one of the last 4 places on this particular retreat, just 4 left, then in the next 24 hours, so between now and midnight on Monday, you can have your flight for free. On us, we will pay for the flight, which means you can book on a twin basis. So that's 2 separate beds in the room. Don't worry, you don't have to share a bed with anybody. You never have to share a bed with anybody on any of our retreats, by the way. Yeah, well, yeah, that's fine. You might share a room, but you won't have to share a bed. So for £1,999, you can get that 7 nights in Tulum, full board, all the things you see there on the screen, and your flight included. So that is an absolute mega, mega deal. So if you are interested in that trip, you need to go to our website, which is easy to find. Anywhere on our Facebook page or in the group, you will find that. Go to the Mexico page, and there is a booking form that you can complete there if you would like to join us and snap up one of those last 4 remaining places for Tulum. I'm so excited. I can't wait for this trip. It's going to be mega. Then when we're back from there, we'll have Christmas, be all cozy, and then I can't believe it, it's going to be 2025. And so we have our UK retreats are really, really popular, aren't they?
Yeah, they book up straight away.
It's funny, isn't it? But I think actually our UK retreats are a nice entry level trip for people to see if a retreat's for them, get to know us too. You know, most people who come on a UK retreat with us then go to come on an overseas one, an abroad one with us, don't they?
Yeah, and also so some people who maybe not travelled internationally on their own as well. That once they come and meet us and make other friends on the retreats, often it's just kind of that little comfort that they needed to then book an international solo travel, which is actually a really, really liberating thing to do. I'm really brave and exciting to just travel abroad on your own to a new destination with a group of people who you possibly don't know, or you only know 1 or 2 of them from a previous retreat.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's good. So this Peak District retreat, this property that we've booked is full on luxury. It's actually called the Cattle Shed, which doesn't sound that luxurious. However, let me tell you, it really, really is. If you have a look at the page on our website for this retreat, you will see the standard of accommodation, the beautiful rooms, the wonderful scenery. It is just absolutely amazing. So this is our New Year, New Intentions retreat. So it's over a long weekend, 10th to the 13th of January. It's for 3 nights. Again, all your meals are included. Again, you will have the opportunity to engage in lots of movement each day, daily yoga. There'll even be yoga nidra at nighttime to help you get ready for a lovely sleep after you've had a day of fresh air and moving about. With it being a New Year, New Intentions retreat, on this one, we've got a vision board workshop, which I love these. They're so much fun. It's an amazing activity to do. But as you would expect, we'll be spending quite a bit of time outside. So we'll be going on a number of walks. You'll have the opportunity to go wild swimming. There's lots of waterfalls in the area. I'm obsessed with waterfalls. Every time we go anywhere, I have to try and find a waterfall. So you can go and dip in the waterfalls if you like. And you're probably thinking, Jodie, it will be January. Yes, it will. It will be very cold, and it will wake you up, and it will make you feel alive again. And you'll want to do it again and again and again and again and again as soon as you've got out. I can absolutely assure you. And even so, on this retreat, there'll be opportunities for some nice quiet time. We'll do some meditations at different points, and we will bring in some therapists so that if you did want to bolt on a spa treatment, you absolutely can. So all of that value, it's on early bird at the moment. The standard price for this trip will be $699. £100 off for early bird, making it $599. There is a 5-month payment plan on it, but obviously come the 10th of September, that 5-month payment plan is out the window because there's no longer 5 months to go beforehand, which means you can pay a deposit of $199 and 4 payments of £100. There is a single occupancy offer on that early bird as well. But this weekend, so again, if you book in the next 24 hours, if you book the whole room, the twin room with a friend, so you come give your friend a nudge, text whoever you fancy coming away with, then we'll give you an extra £50 off per person, meaning it will just be £549 each. That's 3 nights, all your meals, beautiful accommodation, and all of those activities included. I can't wait to go there. I just can't wait to go everywhere. I love life. I know. I get it in the neck of my husband a lot of the time. Are you going away again? I'm like, it's work. It's work, and it's work. We actually work very hard on a retreat, don't we? We come back exhausted. Yes. But what a lovely way to earn your money.
Yeah.
It just means we have a nice office, a better office than most people. Oh, one too many. Right, let's talk a little bit about Finland. Do you want to run through this one, Claire?
So
it's a trip to Finland, isn't it?
Our third trip to Finland. That's how good it is. So we're going. This trip is in February, so it's the week before half term, which I know obviously again is something that we always take into consideration because childcare can be a barrier for women being able to access retreats like this. So we've got 4 nights, and we are in a place called Sajote National Park, which is fairly north of Finland. It's beautiful. It's literally like Narnia. Like it's like you've gone through the wardrobe and you're just in this like magical place. Isn't it?
Actually, that picture you can see in the background, that is our actual lodge.
Yeah, that hill, we did some sledging down that hill and it was absolutely hilarious. We've got some great videos, haven't we, of people sledging down the hills at night. But yeah, we're staying in like a really traditional log house in the national park. And within all the traditional log houses, you have your own sauna. It's a really popular practice in Finland, actually, to go ice dipping, roll around, ice lake dipping, roll around in the snow and then run into your sauna, which is, you don't have to do it, but it is something that will provide an opportunity to do an ice dip and a sauna near where we are. There's a lovely little log cabin bar near where the lodge is and near where your ice dip. We went in and did we have sherry or brandy or something to warm your cockles? It was like and a hot chocolate with marshmallows and things. Honestly, it's so lovely. And so it's a lovely accommodation. It's not your glam luxury like the cattle shed, because that just isn't what local real Finland is like in the national parks, and we want to have the real experience. It's full board. All of your winter clothing will be provided, because that's something people always say is, I don't want to then have to spend 500-600 quid on winter clothing, gloves, all that kind of stuff, skis. So we say to people, just kind of bring your comfies, because we will be providing all of the outerwear, your snow boots, your snow goggles, your helmets, your gloves. Any activity that we do, we provide all of the equipment for it, whether that be fat bikes, whether it's snowshoes, cross-country skiing, the husky sledding, everything is provided. We can build an igloo, although it's not called an igloo in Finland. I've forgotten what it's called. Can you remember what they told us? It's not an igloo.
You sprung that one on me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's called something else, but we can build one anyway, our own, and we can scoop it out. And for those that want to, you can sleep in it. We did that in the first year, didn't we? We all spent a couple of hours in it, surprisingly boiling inside an igloo, despite being minus 26 or minus 30 outside. And then our last trip we did last February, we were really fortunate to have the most amazing northern light visibility right above, right where that sun is shining on that picture in the background. The sky was dancing like emerald green, wasn't it, Geordie, for what felt like hours right above our lodge. So we can't guarantee the northern lights, but our location and the lack of light pollution and how far north we are in Finland gives us really good opportunity, especially around February, for visibility of the northern lights as well. So it's a completely different retreat in the sense of, it's not sun. You've not got the hot weather. Complete opposite, but it's absolutely stunning. Some of the landscape you'll see, and when we're going through the forests, and there's just not a sound you can't hear. You've not got noise pollution, you've not got phones ringing, and you're seeing wild reindeer, and you're actually seeing what real snowflakes look like, and they actually look like the picture of a snowflake, which I didn't know till I went to Finland and caught a snowflake. Your eyelashes freeze, and it honestly makes you feel like a kid again.
And that air in your lungs is a different type of air in your lungs, isn't it? You breathe in and you feel like it just cleans all of your insides instantly. It is absolutely magical. It's so hard to kind of bring to life what Finland is like through pictures. You've just got to be there and do it and see it and experience it.
And I think one of the things that everybody said is the feeling, and you don't have to be really fit to do it. The activities are pitched at all levels. You don't have to be this like avid skier and have all this experience in the snow, because we're doing beginner-based activities and anyone can join in. But what a lot of people said, and we said it too, is that feeling at the end of the day of being physically tired. Because for those of you that are working, looking after families, businesses, pets, whatever, you're mentally tired because your brain's just on all the time. And when you're in Finland, kind of that side of it's taken out. But because you're outside in the cold, we're doing activities, you come home at night and we have our home cooked meal around the log fire, and you're physically tired. And I think there's just something about going to bed feeling physically tired but mentally rested. It's
like a log, don't you?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So
that's tell us about the prices, George. The offers.
Yeah, definitely. So the price for this trip is £1,499. Again, if you're booking it now before in the next week, then you can take it over 6 months, which would be £250 a month. And if you book before tomorrow night, we will throw your flight in for free, same as what we would do with Tulum. 2 flights are required for this trip. So just so you know, we fly first to Helsinki, and then we do another leg from Helsinki to Oulu. So it's about 2 hours to Helsinki, and then we have about another hour after that from Helsinki to Oulu. So we will pay for both of those flights if you decide to book on this retreat in the next 24 hours. We hope you choose to come on that. It is just spectacular. Best trip ever. It was my favourite. Okay, let's talk about Lake District. So after Finland, we'll be doing the Lake District, which will be in May. And this is probably our budget retreat of the year, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I say that it's budget, but it's the best fun ever. I'm not a camper.
Neither am I.
If it was anything near camping, we wouldn't be doing it. But these are the actual glamping pods that we stay in that you can see on the screen. So it's a lovely private camp of 9 glamping pods. Each glamping pod can actually sleep up to 5 people on this trip. But, we tend to sell them on a twin basis, unless you decide you want to bring a group of 3, 4 or 5 of you, which, as you can see by the prices, we've got some great deals if you do want to share between 4 or 5 of you. But we would not put you in a pod with people that you don't know on that kind of number. We will only do twin if we're putting you in with somebody. If you come in alone, and we'll put you in with somebody else. So this is just a 2-night trip, 9th to the 11th of May. We're in these glamping pods. It's important to signpost up front. We have got lovely bathroom facilities on this site, but they are not in your pod. So if you need a wee at night, you do have to go out the pod, and, well, it's up to you if you walk to the toilet or you go wild. We went wild. It's absolutely fine. Again, all your meals are included. We'll even do your packed lunches if we're going out on a bit of a hike for the day. And again, all the activities are included. This year we did a hike, we did a cycle, and we did a kayak, didn't we? So there'll be typically 3 activities.
And we did tarn dipping. We went and did an outdoor swim in the Moss Eccles Tarn, didn't we? Beatrix Potter's private tarn,
Yeah. So if you fancy a little wild swim, you can do that midway around the hike. And yeah, it's fantastic. Every day we'll do a bit of yoga, a bit of exercise first thing if you want to. You don't have to, but Claire usually puts that on. So it's £299 per person based on a twin occupancy, or if there were 3 of you. If you do a group of 4, you can have the whole pod for 999, not 9,000, or 5 of you. Obviously, you can see it gets cheaper and cheaper the more of you go in it, because it is a bit more of a squeeze. But again, if you wanted to book in the next 24 hours, then we would do you a pod for 2 for £500. So between the 2 of you, you will save another £100, £50 each. It's a lovely trip. If you love a bit of outdoorsy activity, a bit of wild wilderness, but down the road, the Lake District is beautiful. And actually, this year, we got an even more spectacular display of the Northern Lights while we were here.
Yeah, and in fact, it right shine, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah. We got sunburn, and then we got the Northern Lights that rivaled those of Finland. I mean, Finland's were spectacular. The Lake Districts, we got a full rainbow of colour, didn't we? They weren't just neon green. They were amazing here. So we do, I can't guarantee, but we are Northern Light magnets.
Because Jodie has an app and she now tracks them like she's some avid astronomer. She knows what the planets are all doing at any one time. I think as well, just to kind of reiterate, is that even with our UK trips, these are all still bonded as a package travel holiday. So just because it's not international, these are still fully insured. Any booking goes through our bonded account in trust, and you're still covered by all the same protections. Obviously not at all, because it's no flight, but still bonded as a package travel holiday as well, even though it's the UK.
Yeah. So we had a good trip, didn't we? Yeah. Kayaking was fun. Yeah. Okay, right. Then we're back onto the international circuit. By special request. So we're only just about to put this one on sale now. So if you go onto the website at the moment, it will still put you to a wait list. But if you fill the form in for the wait list in the next 24 hours, we will get you booked on trip. At this price on this trip. So Ibiza will be doing 4 nights from the 5th to the 9th of June. This one is going to be called a sun, sea, sand, sangria and self-love retreat. All the S's for this one. So yes, a gorgeous villa, all beyond suite accommodation here. Again, all your meals are included. Opportunity to do some moving around, some yoga. We'll probably do some aquascience here because we'll have a wonderful pool in Ibiza. We're planning on having a bit of a beach club day at one of the amazing beach clubs. So if you fancy a little bit of daytime partying, daytime glam partying. We're not going to go nighttime clubbing, but if you choose to go to Ushuaia one night, you can knock yourself out. That's entirely up to you. You're more than welcome. You might convince me to come with you. And we'll be doing a self-love workshop, and again, you can have some spa treatments should you want to add them on while you are there. So this for me feels like a really special, because Ibiza can be a really spiritual place. I know it's obviously seen as the party capital, and you obviously always see San Antonio or the party areas on kind of posts and videos and stuff like that, but the majority of Ibiza is quite chilled, and quite spiritual. Lovely place to be, so you can enjoy some tranquility and peace. And actually, we're not going to take too many people on this retreat. We're going to keep this one quite intimate. So actually, if you would like, you're the type of person that likes your own space and you don't want to share a room with anybody, then you can have a room all to yourself with no single supplement if you book this weekend, say this weekend in the next 24 hours. So This trip will come in at £1,999 per person. You can take a 10-month payment plan on it. So it'll be £199 a month. After this weekend, that's what the single supplement price will be. So you could save yourself £700 if you decide you want to book onto this Ibiza treat before midnight tomorrow night. So if Ibiza's always been there on your wish list, then that might be a nice one for you to come and join.
I've never been to Ibiza. It's one place I've not been. No, never been.
I had. I celebrated one of my wedding anniversaries there a few years ago, and we did. Yeah, we did. We went Mambo's and did the super clubs, but it was we did it like grown ups. It was nice. Actually, there's a lot of the big clubs now are more populated with people our age. So actually, it's quite nice. It's quite nice. If you do want to do that, by all means, go for it. 2 more left to share with you. This is my favourite one that's going to come up soon. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Is our trip to France. I've taken great delight in sourcing the venue for this one. It's been such good fun. We've even been invited out here in advance to go and do a recce to stay with the owners. British couple that have bought this amazing property. It's called Fontalba. It's in the Dordogne, which is the most beautiful part of France, according to most people. And we're going to call this one our pure indulgence retreat, because never mind wholesome food, we'll definitely be indulging on this one. So we've got an amazing, this is our property that you can see in the background. We've got our own private pool. It's a luxury high-end gîte. Again, all your meals will be included. We're going to be indulging in lots of wine and cheese. We're going to be doing a fantastic vineyard tour. Again, we'll have therapists in to offer spa treatments. We're planning on going cycling around some of the lovely local villages, so you can shop for loads of nice things while you're there. And we're going to be doing some group coaching sessions here. So less structured in terms of topic of workshop, but where you can bring your own goals, dreams, aspirations, challenges, problems to a group coaching session, and we'll all work on them collectively over a glass of wine and some cheese, which just sounds fantastic. Cannot wait. I think you're definitely finding out the type of people that we are now. So again, on this one, we've got a bit of an early bird offer. This early bird offer, though, is only on the first 6 places, which is half of them. We can take 12 of you to this particular venue. So this early bird price is just £1,399 per person. Ordinarily, that will be $1,599. There is a 12-month payment plan available. That 12-month payment plan is on the standard price. So obviously, we will knock that down if you take the early bird price, which would work out about $160 a month. And there is a single supplement option available if you did fancy France. We'll be flying into Bergerac. And actually, I've been looking at the flights and they're about 30 quid. So actually, we won't include a flight on this package because there's no way we can beat what you could book yourself. The easiest way to book the flights on this trip are with Ryanair.
It's Liverpool, direct to consumer. Northwest, it's Liverpool, Bergerac, isn't it?
Liverpool to Bergerac, and it'll cost you about 30 quid on the plane. So there's literally hardly any additional cost outside of that one to get you to France. So yeah, I'm excited about that one. And then we've saved our biggest till last, haven't we? For Zanzibar in February 2026.
It says wine and cheese.
Yeah.
You can have that if you want.
I just must have got carried away with the wine and cheese.
Wine and cheese on every retreat.
You know what? I'm not sure they'll have very good cheese in Zanzibar.
No, I don't think so either.
But you know what? We're always up for a challenge, so we'll see if what cheese we can find in Zanzibar. But what a spot of paradise this island is. So if you've never come across Zanzibar before, it is off the southeast coast of Africa. Yeah, so it's a bit of a lengthy flight, not quite the length of Bali, but it probably is a 2-leg flight. Again, change somewhere in the Middle East, probably Dubai, Doha, somewhere like that, if you're planning on coming on this trip. But we can do an all-inclusive price on this flight. And again, for this one, literally, we haven't told anybody about this trip until tonight, but we are putting an early bird price on there on the first 4 places only. That will include your flight. So mega savings to be had on that one, where you can book onto that trip for just £2,299. Well, this one will be our ultimate kind of anti-burnout retreat, where you can literally just down tools for the week and focus on getting yourself in tip-top peachy condition, ready to retake on the world again. So yes, promises to be a special treat. So just 4 places on that early bird. That will stay as an early bird until those 4 are gone. So that isn't time limited before tomorrow night.
And for those
so they
can nip across and do Kilimanjaro while they're
there. I won't be doing that. If you come on one of our retreats, you'll find out why. I will explain my aversion to going up steep things. Yes. Claire likes a mountain. So if you like a mountain, you can go on a mountain trip with Claire. I will hold the fort and hold the bags at the bottom. Yeah, we climbed a mountain in Bali in the middle of the night.
An active volcano. Yeah, it was.
Volcano, and I did not like it. Let's just put it mildly in that sense. So they are all of our retreats that we've got coming up. And we just want to finish on one last thing before we kind of open up for some questions, if you have any. And that's because it's 1st of September today. And today we are launching the Retreat Yourself Club, because we wanted to find a way to give you a retreat experience all year round, even when you can't go off on a trip, and a way for you to kind of get invested and almost saving up for your retreat, for your dream retreat, like all the way round. So this is the Retreat Yourself Club. It'll be just £20 a month for founding members. And every month in the club, we will give you a new meditation, a new movement / exercise / yoga class, a wonderful recipe for some wholesome, healthy food, a masterclass for you to develop yourself, in a personal development topic, and a live group coaching session, which we will host. I will host the live group coaching session to work on anything that you want some support with at any particular time in that month. And the best bit is you get to double your subscription for retreat credits. So if you think about it, if you're paying £20 a month and you paid that for a year, you'll have paid £240 into your retreat membership. We will double that. And in fact, we'll throw an extra 20 quid in bonus if you do the full year's money. You can double that, £240 up to £480, and put that towards a retreat of your choice. So you'll have only invested £240, but we will give you the value of £480 off your retreat of choice. And if you're doing the full year's worth of membership fees, we'll throw in an extra 20 quid and call it 500. But you could trade those membership fees in at any point if you like. Maybe you've done 6 months and you want to use your retreat credits. You will have spent £120. We will double that up. You can claim £240 off your retreat. Now, I think that is an absolute steal of a very good idea, if we do say so ourselves, but a wonderful way for you to be planning so that you get all of this amazing content, resources, you know, personal development, retreat content all year round. And then you get to turn that into, every pound turns into £2 of retreat credit, and you can use that towards a retreat of your choice. The only kind of rule with that is you can't use it in conjunction with any other offer. Cool, isn't it?
We've already had one of the Zanzibar places gone.
Oh,
so it's actually only 3.
Oh, that's amazing news. Oh, I'm excited to see who that might be. We won't call that out, but if it's you and you're on and you want to go, it's me, then you can say so yourself. Oh, I'm super duper excited.
Just had an email come through.
Yay. So yeah, that's our retreat open evening. So I hope we've kind of met the objectives for tonight. We've talked to you about what a retreat actually is, in case you really weren't sure. Hopefully, you know if it's something that is for you and that the answer is yes. You've got to know Claire and I, so hopefully we're the type of people that you feel like you could come on a retreat with, that we take good care of you, that we are experts in what we do. Obviously, we're reputable, and your money and your experience is safe with us. You've had an insight to the trips that we've got coming up, and we've introduced you to the Retreat Yourself Club, where you can use all of your subscription, trade them in. It's like a Boots Advantage card, isn't it? For every £1 you spend, you get £2 in retreat credits to use against a retreat.
Better than Boots. Pardon? So it's better than Boots. You don't get double your pound in Boots, do you?
You get 4 points. I mean, Boots is the best loyalty card out there on the high street, apparently. Yeah, right. 4 points for every £1 you spend. But I can't remember what they're worth. But yeah, there you go. So yes, if you've got any questions, please pop them into the comments, even if you're watching on catch up. But if you're watching on catch up, can you tag us? So either tag me, tag Claire, or tag Retreat Yourself, so that it makes sure that it shows us in our notifications that you have asked us a question, and we will get back to you in a jiffy. We'll be as quick as we can, whether that be today, whether it be tomorrow, whether it be over the course of the next week. Maybe it's 2 weeks until you're watching this, but yeah.
Yes, Kai's just put she's in too for Zanzibar, so that could be 2 gone.
Yeah, Michaela's put I'm in for Zanzibar. Yeah, so Kai, there you go. We'll look forward to that.
So with regards to questions, if anyone's got any bucket list places they want to go, or you know, we're always up for new ideas of where we can go and source out some great retreat locations. So if there's somewhere you've always wanted to go, or suggestions of some like maybe off the grid places that aren't maybe currently lots of retreats there, let us know, because me and Jodie are always up for a challenge in sourcing a perfect venue for a retreat.
Yeah, always. I'm sitting in the dark now. Look, I'm literally just glowing up by the light of my screen. Funny. Right, well, I hope that's been really useful for you. I hope you've enjoyed spending just over an hour. Well, it's an hour and a quarter with us, actually, isn't it? So I don't think we did too bad there. We had roughly an hour in our heads, didn't we? But I hope you have a lovely rest of your Sunday evening. Go and scheme away to decide which trip you'd like to come on, how you want to make it happen. Get in touch with us with any questions, and we look forward to seeing you on a retreat with us, hopefully sometime soon.
Yep. Have a nice night.